Today's conversation is on putting off the former conversation, which the former conversation in the Bible refers to the conversation of the old man. The old man thinking in terms of separation from God and our true nature, created in the perfect image of the Creator, which is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Anytime thoughts that appear in mind that are from the false premise of lacking love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment in any shape or form, it is crystal clear that belongs to the old man. It is not you really thinking. You really thinking is thinking from the premise of fulfillment. Love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Now, as you put off the former conversation, if opportunities to put off the former conversation are presented, you remain in your flow, and you also notice that you experience what I call a flow enhancer, as you have transmuted a potential flow restrictor into a flow enhancer, and you experientially feel it. Anandamide is released, which is the bliss molecule. Anandamide is derived from the Sanskrit word ananda, which means bliss. The bliss molecule is released anytime you do not identify with old man thinking in relation to an appearance, and having witnessed the appearance transform to be in your favor, you experience anandamide release. You also experience clear thinking, body appearing to flow, and the appearances transforming to be in your favor. Now, with respect to this, Danielle, Lynn, and I are doing an event in Los Angeles on November 23rd. If you would like to know more details about this particular event, which is all about living a flow-based life by putting off the former conversation with a group of individuals who are also committed to living a flow-based life, like-minded individuals who operate from their heart center. So heart-brain coherence, we also refer to this. That is the result of putting off the former conversation. If you would like to be around a group of individuals who also choose to be as they are, live life in flow, not from identification to old man thinking, in a wonderful community of people that are committed to living a flow-based life, enjoying flow-based conversations with us, and further embodying physically, emotionally, and mentally the spiritual truth that you are, the true self is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. I recommend going into the description. There's a link to the event. Check out the event, register for the event, and then we will see you at the event with the like-minded individuals who choose to live from the heart center to manifest as wonderful life experiences, wonderful harmonious relationships, harmonious business, career, which has been the experience of Danielle and I as a result of applying this information, and we would like to facilitate that with you. If you are interested, the link is in the description. And also, if you're not able to make the event, the live event, we also have a streaming option available, and there's a recording available if you're not able to make that time, which again is 11:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time, and that is going to be held in Los Angeles, California on November 23rd. I look forward to meeting you at the event if that feels resonant with you. Now, the old man thinking is not you really thinking. And I would like to discuss today where these opportunities can appear to release identification to old man thinking so that you could be as you are and live life the way you truly desire to live. This was also inspired by the 7-Day Mental Diet by Emmett Fox. I have done a number of discussions on this channel on the 7-Day Mental Diet by Emmett Fox. And I trust that Emmett Fox would agree with what I'm going to say next. The 7-Day Mental Diet is not meant to be a tactical thing. As in, this week I'm going to do a 7-day mental diet and not identify with old man thinking. And then the week after that, and the next few weeks after that, I'm going to start identifying with old man thinking. It has been known, and has been never known to fail, that those that have applied the 7-Day Mental Diet by Emmett Fox have experienced transformation in their life. More flow, wonderful changes in a harmonious way with respect to relationships, environments, life experiences. I have done it a number of times to the letter, and it has never been known to fail. I have mentioned it to my clients who have applied it, and it has never been known to fail. Real transformation in a way that is authentic, living life authentically, being in flow, harmonious relationships appearing out of nowhere, environments transforming to be in your favor, is the natural result of applying the 7-Day Mental Diet by Emmett Fox. Now, I trust Emmett Fox would agree that this is not a tactical thing. As in, I consider the 7-Day Mental Diet as a lifestyle. So you can call it a mental diet lifestyle if you would like. And the Emmett Fox mental diet is simply putting off the former conversation, not identifying with old man thinking. Practically speaking, you are aware of what you think in relation to a person prior to a conversation with them, during a conversation with them, and after a conversation with them. Do you imagine prior to interacting with them in terms of separation? Imagining lack of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment to play out as theater in the conversation with the person. Do you imagine that prior to the conversation? Well, guess what? That is not you really imagining. That is not you really thinking. That is old man thinking, old man imagining, and that is not you. You are what the Bible refers to as the new man, or the true self, who cannot think in terms of separation. You realize this by not identifying with the illusory imaginal activity, the illusory thinking that belongs to the old man. And practically, how does it play out? It plays out as a flow-based conversation with the person, harmonious relationships, imagining them lovingly, imagining them ideally, imagining the relationship to play out in a way that is related to love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, which is your true nature. The source of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment is within. The source of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment is God. And as you have been created in the perfect image of the Creator, you really think for yourself when you think from the premise of fulfillment, when you think from the premise of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. If you think that you think otherwise, think again. That kind of thinking that suggests separation from love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment is not you really thinking. That kind of thinking belongs to the old man. The old man seems to suggest illusions of separation, which is not real. So as mentioned, you are aware of the thoughts prior, during, and after conversations. You are aware of. Very specifically, what I mean is that there is a space. There is silence. Silence. There is a space. There is stillness. There is silence in between the appearance and the thought appearing in mind. There's also a space, silence, stillness in between you, which represents choice. Behold, I send you forth as sheep amidst the wolves. Be shrewd as serpents and innocent as doves, which means choose in accordance with your true nature. Choose in accordance with your true nature. Serpent refers to the one who knows. You know your true nature. So, if old man thinking appears in mind as illusions of separation, there is a space you can choose to identify with that thinking or not. I suggest not. I suggest not identifying with the illusory thinking. If you don't identify with the illusory thinking, I trust you have noticed this as well. Conversations flow, relationships flow, magic happens in the environment. That is one of the reasons why we're doing this event in Los Angeles. Danielle and I experience it when we hang out. We experience it in flow-based prosperity. You have been experiencing it as well. We put together this group dynamic so that we can all further experience it together. We all, as we are interacting with each other, with respect to people, environment, circumstance, and information, can acknowledge the space, the silence, the stillness together. And if it is old man thinking, we can choose not to identify with it. Don't identify with it, and the appearances transform. What appears? Wonderful, harmonious relationships, wonderful, harmonious lifestyle, wonderful, harmonious business, career, whatever it is that you truly desire. And by that I mean, you have been created in the perfect image of the Creator. To suggest otherwise would be unwise, and that belongs to the old man. That kind of thinking that suggests illusions of separation from love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment through imaginal activity that appears as separation from love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment to people, environment, circumstance, and information belongs to the old man. And with respect to the 7-day mental diet, I also put together a video on the 7-day mental and emotional diet with respect to thoughts and emotions. Because just as a person can emotionally react, we could say, they can choose to allow the emotions to be released and not identify with old man thinking. Just as they can do that, they can also do that with thoughts. Whatever way, I don't have a bias to do it one way or another, which is why I put together that video. I'll link in the description to it. Because there has been, at times for me, emotional reactivity in relation to the appearances, which as a result of that emotional reactivity in relation to the appearances, there is imaginal activity appearing in mind that suggests illusions of separation with another person, with environment, with information, with circumstance. You could say old man seems to suggest that based on this appearance, I cannot live the way I truly desire to live, which is an illusion. It's an illusion. How do I know that? Well, as I allow the emotions to be released, I don't identify with that untrue imaginal activity that belongs to the old man. And what appears? Environments appear to transform. For example, I remember having a conversation with someone, and something that they said seemed to trigger a particular belief that belongs to the old man, from which then you can say, I appear to be possessed by old man thinking. I started arguing with that person, creating unnecessary conflict for no valid reason at all. Just convoluted theater for no reason at all. I was aware of it in the moment, no shame and condemnation. I released it. And then the conversation transformed into a harmonious, loving conversation. Now, this has happened in personal relationships, business, etc. The way I practice this over and over again, I've been doing this for years, is to acknowledge the space, acknowledge the silence, acknowledge the stillness in between the appearance and the imaginal activity. Acknowledge the stillness, acknowledge the silence, acknowledge the space between I and what I choose to identify with. I have a choice in that moment. I have a choice. You have a choice. I can choose to reimagine it, and then it appears that way. Or I can choose to not identify with that illusory thinking. Thy will be done. And the appearances appear to transform to be in my favor. Why is that the case? Well, your true nature is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment for no reason at all. If you don't identify with old man thinking, which is illusory thinking, again, these are thoughts appearing in mind that suggest separation from love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. I would like to focus on people. Separation between you and I is an illusion. Separation between you and God is an illusion. Separation between myself and God is an illusion. Truly, there only is God, and the true nature of existence is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. So if I relate to you in any other way other than love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, that would result in a flow restrictor. That would result in convoluted behaviors, unnecessary conflict. Do you see that? Have you seen that before? Now here is the good news. Literally, the good news. You are not that thinking. That thinking belongs to the old man. Separation from love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment is an illusion. How can I truly think that way? How can you truly think that way? It is only identification to old man thinking, illusions of separation, illusory beliefs, illusory thinking, illusory imaginal activity that results in unnecessary conflict. Try it. This is why everyone that I have taught the 7-day mental diet to, which again belongs to Emmett Fox, he was the one who created it, I simply implemented it and saw the results and continue to do so over the years on a continuous basis. Every day I do it. What do? If an illusory thought appears in mind, I don't identify with it. It gets easier and easier. Why does it get easier? It gets easier because the beliefs that are generating those thoughts, which belongs to the old man, and the old man dissolves. What then appears is true self-expressions as harmonious relationships, harmonious business, harmonious life experiences, etc. Whatever it is that you truly desire in life. Now, as I have taught the 7-day mental diet, as I have implemented the 7-day mental diet, every single client that applied the 7-day mental diet saw transformation in their life. And by that I mean, very specifically, life appearing to be in harmony with them. And even more specific, life experiences, life appearances of what they call love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. This is true in relationships. This is true in friendships. This is true in business, all areas of life. What they did was do exactly what we're talking about here. Be aware, you are aware of the space between the appearance and the imaginal activity. You are aware of the space between you and the imaginal activity. And knowing that there is a space between you and the imaginal activity, between the appearance and the imaginal activity, those are opportunity points. So, practically speaking, I will be out and about, let's say, and engaging in a conversation with someone. Let's say they say something to me, and then all of a sudden it appears in mind, illusory thinking. It has nothing to do with what they said. Illusory thinking appears in mind, and I saw that. I saw, wait, there's a clear distinction between what they said and these illusory thoughts of separation, illusory imaginal activity of separation that belongs to the old men. It's crystal clear to me. I trust you've experienced this as well. Now then, I realize also that there is who I truly am, which is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Who they truly are, which is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And it is again crystal clear that that imaginal activity of conflict belongs to the old men. It is not me really thinking. It is not them really thinking. It is not you really thinking. If we were really thinking, we think in terms of fulfillment. We think in terms of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Now, with respect to that, there is an opportunity, the space, the silence, the stillness in between I and the imaginal activity, in between the imaginal activity and the appearance, the conversation with the person. And with that spaciousness, we could say, I then know that that is old man thinking. And I let it pass. I let it pass. If strong emotions arise, I allow them to be released. Again, this is why I created the 7-day mental and emotional diet with respect to thoughts and emotions. Sometimes I do it via thought. Sometimes I do it via emotions. Sometimes both. Why would I bias over one way or another when any one of those is effective to transmute what could appear as a flow restrictor, which is an illusion, to a flow enhancer so I could remain in my flow. So by not identifying with the illusory thought, what happens is the conversation becomes harmonious, or we could say continues to remain harmonious. Now, as I taught this to my clients, and I have mentioned this all throughout the years in the videos, what everyone has reported back to me is that it works. It has never been known to fail. Everybody that has done the 7-day mental diet, and I mean really done the 7-day mental diet, has noticed transformation in their life with respect to their relationships, their environments, their business, etc. And again, as mentioned, the 7-day mental diet, I don't see it as tactical. As in this week, we're going to do a 7-day mental diet. And then next week, if illusory thoughts start to appear in mind, I will identify with them. And then more illusory thoughts start appearing in mind, more illusory beliefs are formed. And then a person then all of a sudden experiences illusions of separation in their life again. And they may even have forgotten about the benefits that they were getting from the 7-day mental diet, which again is another reason why Danielle and I are doing the event. We had a conversation about this and said, we got ourselves to the ability where through the practice, again, and again, being by ourselves and with people, it is easier and easier to discern. It became very easy to discern. Now, for some individuals that I've worked with, they spoke about how communities have been really helpful for them. Communities that operate this way are really helpful for them. Communities where individuals are encouraged to really think for themselves, to really honor themselves, to be in harmonious relationships with people, which is distinct from groupthink. Groupthink means, although the group has an intention, there seems to be old man thinking appearing within the conversations, and identification to that old man thinking happens to keep a false sense of peace in the group, to persist in some illusion which maybe provides some temporary relief, but then a whole bunch of suffering afterwards. I trust you know what I'm talking about. So, what we said was harmonious community experience for 4 hours where we can facilitate flow-based living, putting off the former conversation, valuing the space, valuing the silence, valuing the stillness, acknowledging the spaciousness between the appearance, people, environment, circumstance, information, the imaginal activity, and also the true self, and also the I that has been created in the perfect image of the Creator. I spring from the being I am. I, if inquired into, is directed to the source of I am, bringing awareness to all of us, valuing the stillness, the silence, the spaciousness. What then happens as we do that, from 11:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. is within the experience, transformation happens. Flow is enhanced. Illusions of separation are released in a way that generates harmonious relationships, harmonious collaboration, harmonious business, harmonious creative expression. The individuals are encouraged to live how they truly desire to live, authentically. I don't tell them what to think. I don't tell them what to do. Danielle doesn't tell people what to think, what to do. You know what to think. You know what to do. We facilitate listening to heart and intuition, resulting in heart-brain coherence. resulting in flow. So we said that that would be a wonderful thing to do to facilitate this kind of experience. And that is what we're doing on November 23rd. If you happen to be in the Los Angeles area, or you could fly in to the Los Angeles area and join us for the event. The Flow Mastery Experience, that's what we call it. Flow Mastery Experience. Built on the foundation of applying all of this over the years to build our own successful businesses, harmonious relationships, harmonious flow-based lifestyle, and it's a lot of fun. As mentioned, we all do this in a fun, joyous, flow-based way. Everyone is supported. It's a harmonious community, not groupthink, harmonious community. It's a harmonious community experience for 4 hours, not groupthink. And it is always in mutual harmony and benefit with all to live the authentic way, your true way of being. If you're interested in the event, I'll link in the description. As mentioned, it will also be streamed. So in summary, there is a space. As you meditate, you are aware of the space in between you and the thought. You are aware of that space. Have you noticed that? I recommend Vipassana meditation. I'll link in the description to a guided Vipassana meditation. As you practice Vipassana meditation, you notice that there is a space, an ample amount of space, a spacious amount of space, we could say, in between the thought and you. And in that moment, there is a choice. For the meditation practice, we practice letting the thoughts pass for the practice. In day-to-day life, we also practice it by letting the untrue thoughts, the illusory thoughts that belong to the old man, to pass. And what arises is clear thinking, accurate thinking, as Napoleon Hill calls it, which happens to be in harmony with all. If it is not in harmony with all, if it is us versus them, if it is I win and you lose, or you win and I lose, that is illusory thinking. That suggests separation. So it's clearly illusory thinking. It clearly belongs to the old man, which is not you, and thus not you really thinking. So in those moments, as you respect the space, as you value the stillness, as you value the silence, you value the fact that you can choose. You can choose to not think that way, not thinking in terms of separation. Allow that thought to pass. And what Emmett Fox had talked about as the 7-day mental diet is lived. It is actually, I trust you acknowledge this as well, as we've been talking about, living meditation, living the meditation practice. What Emmett Fox was talking about was living the meditation practice. So I value both. The Vipassana 20-minute meditation, which you can do in the morning, and also I've also done it in the evening. I've been doing a 20-minute Vipassana meditation since 2008. And what I found is over the years, that spaciousness between the appearance and thoughts appearing in mind, and I and the thought, and choice, the spaciousness seems to increase. It seems to be vaster. It seems to me like slow motion. Oh, I could choose to identify with that or not. It really feels like that. It feels like there's this huge amount of discernment space in between. As I've been practicing that, it has increased. And life is experienced then like a lucid dream that is in my favor. I walk around like a child. By that I mean childlike, being how I truly desire to be, living how I truly desire to live, choosing to live from the premise of my true nature. I trust you've noticed this as well. So, through the practice of doing this again and again and again, not identifying with the old man, putting off the former conversation. In the Bible, again, this refers to the conversation of the old man, thinking in terms of separation, inner talk, from the premise of lack of fulfillment, which is a false premise. As we put off the former conversation, mind is purified and flow is acknowledged as the natural way of being. Heart-brain coherence, living in flow, life appearing to be in your favor, harmonious relationships, harmonious environments, harmonious life experiences that are true and authentic being. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's conclude this with an auto suggestion to further encourage. You could say, I think clearly from the premise of my true nature exclusively, as I know that I am love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Thus I imagine lovingly, ideally, with respect to people, environment, circumstance, and information, to manifest as love-based, happiness-based, peace-based, fulfillment-based, flow-based experiences, relationships with increasing frequency on a continuous basis as far as the senses perceive, acknowledging that I am that way now.